welcome back to my channel. And what are we doing today? But before I hop into it, let's get those disclaimers out of the way and then hop into it. Of course, before I get started, I do have those disclaimers to get out of the way. I live near a major highway here in the country of Belize, so you will hear those motor vehicles in my background. Where I live, there's also a lot of wild birds. You may hear them calling, chirping, and crying in the background. And thirdly, I have dogs. I have dogs, my neighbors have dogs. So if anyone comes in this neighborhood, you will hear those dogs, including my own, start barking. And with that, I get back to my regular scheduled program. For disclaimer, guys, I have been up since like 3:30 this morning. And excuse the tired look, it's just been a very long morning. Actually, it's 1 o'clock right now and I'm still haven't gotten some sleep. I'm just really tired right now. But I want to do this voiceover, so let me tell you what I have planned. I decided at 3:30 in the morning to start working and making a advent calendar, and I'll be taking you through the steps of that advent calendar that I made that is actually for next year. Okay, so let's hop to it. Okay, so you hear me now. You see me here starting off with measuring the rolls. I'm actually using the rolls out of the toilet papers that I have saved, and I stole one out of the bathroom. Don't ask. My husband was looking for it, like what happened to the rolls. So I basically measured those off and cut those in half. I have about 6 rolls, so half of that will be about 12 when I cut it into half and double it. And now you see me here working on the top of the advent calendar. I wanted to look like a little Christmas tree, and when I stacked the rolls up, I noticed it wouldn't have given me that Christmas tree effect that I wanted, so I decided to add a top onto the rolls in order to create it. And I'm just stapling, making sure it looks like a perfect triangle. I kind of failed, but it was okay. I mean, yeah, I'm gluing the rolls together, the halves together, and I'm trying to make sure that the even ends on one side and the uneven ends are on the other side. That is going to be important later on in this video. And now I'm stapling on the top of the rolls, top of that stacks, which is supposed to be the top of the Christmas tree. This piece that you see me here doing is actually the bottom of the Christmas tree, like where the root of the tree is supposed to go. I'm just making a box, a simple little box out of poster board. I'm just using a piece of cardboard here, just something left over from an Amazon box. As you can see that I have glued that because it kind of felt a little flimsy and I wanted the stacks of rolls to feel very secure. And I'm stapling all that together, making sure everything feels very, very secure. Then I noticed the bottom of the box feel kind of flimsy, and I did show this piece where I add a piece of foam board onto the back. I just basically measure it out and add foam board onto the back. Now I'm adding on some leftover Christmas wrappings that I had, wrapping paper. Those I had for donkey years, as we will say here in the country of Belize, and from King Hatchet was a hammer, and I'm just trying to, you know, put that on to kind of decorate my little tree advent calendar thing that I'm making. But then I noticed that I wanted to make sure it looks kind of seamless, so I ripped off the siding that I put on and I put on the backing, and that's what you just saw. The next thing you see me doing now is putting on, re-put on the siding of that, and just to make sure it looks kind of seamless. This part looks so beautiful, so gorgeous. I kind of like it, you know, putting on the other side, making sure everything just look matchy, and it just looks beautiful on this end of the advent calendar. Don't ask when it gets to the end. I just got really tired. Sorry, I was just wondering if I was still recording, because, you know, I don't know what went on just now. Anyway, you see me here just going in, trying to make sure, and I'm trying to put on the backing, well, the underneath part of that. I think what I did after I did this, it was before I did this, I put a piece of foam board underneath that to make sure everything could hold the weight on it, because it's basically made from paper. And now you see me here doing some little Christmas challenges for myself, like the Arteza Advent Calendar, which inspired my Advent Calendar, and I'm giving myself little Christmas challenges and writing them out. Don't ask me what they are, because honestly I just made some up and I just put them in there, and I'm way too tired right now to remember all of them. And I just basically put some of the art supplies. I was careful enough to put in art supplies into my advent calendar that I know I personally won't miss. So I put extra pens, pencils, I put that in a little baggie to make sure that when I move the advent calendar around, those don't slip out. I gave myself little challenges. I put in a little sketchbook in the advent calendar so I have something to sketch with, because it is an art advent calendar that I was making, and I was making it so that I could have something to do. I'm thinking of doing this for 2022, and instead of 12 days of Christmas, it's actually 14. Now here you see me putting on the front of the advent calendar. It's just some cardstock that was left over from my card making days. I'm putting on some silicone glue just to make sure everything stays secure and everything is packed up. The next thing you'll see me do is put on some tape. I don't know if I show that here in the video, but I put on some tape, and yeah, I did. And this is just some kind of decorating tape. It reminds me of packing tape with decorations on it, and I just put it on there so that it can hold everything together. Then I had some foam numbers, again left over from my card making and scrapbooking days, and I'm using those now to put on the dates on the advent calendar. I'm using the X-Acto knife to kind of perforate some little holes around it so that when time comes for me to get the stuff out, I could just put my finger in, again kind of simulating that Arteza Advent Calendar kind of thing. And I'm just perforating. The mistake I made here was I didn't remember exactly how the holes were, so I was like trying to figure out how to perf those holes without damaging the art supplies that were in it. That was quite funny. And then I am trying now, I'm actually gluing on the numbers, the dates of the advent calendar from 1 to 14. I decided to do a 14-day advent calendar. I know advent calendars are usually 1 to 12, 1 to 24, some goes up to 25, but I wanted a 14-day calendar and I'm making it for myself, so there's no rules, and I just do it. I'm showing you here, and the advent calendar is done. Thank you guys so much. Bye. So yeah, that was a long process, very long. Even though I woke up at 3:30, I think I started that project like 5 o'clock in the morning this morning, and I finished just after 12. So basically it took me 7 hours to do. You're getting it in like 6-7 minutes, maybe 10 minutes of footage, but it's like 7 hours it took me to do. I have it packaged up. I put mainly art supplies. I try to be careful with the amount of art supplies I put in there. I use, like I said in the recording piece, that I use art supplies that I personally won't miss if I put it in there, because these are art supplies that I rarely use, and these are art supplies that I have multiple of. So that was what I put in my advent calendar, and I'm hoping that I will open it in 2022 Christmas, where I can bring you my advent calendar. I know Arteza did one, and it's all the rage, and I said, you know what, if Arteza can do an advent calendar, so can I. And that's what I did. Guys, thank you so much for joining me on this journey. I'm sorry about my lighting issues. I'm trying a new way of recording because I have to do this voiceover piece. And as always, stay safe, stay blessed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Merry Christmas, guys, and a happy and prosperous 2022. Bye.